Everyone, Callie Gold here again. In case you weren't aware, Dr. Disrespect did return today as promised. He did tweet yesterday that he was going to be returning today and explain everything. And boy, did he explain everything today. Listen, I'm not going to show you the whole thing that he said because it sounds like a lawyer talking. In fact, I think he was just directly reading this from his screen. Based on the reflection on his sunglasses, I think he was just reading it. I think while he was gone, and I said it myself, this guy needs his lawyers on this to kind of help direct him so he doesn't get into more trouble. But, you know, just from a legal perspective. So he did talk a lot today. And I read through it right away, what he was talking about. I'm going to make it like a real short synopsis for you and then just give a little commentary on it. So despite the fact that several weeks ago, he made the critical mistake from a legal perspective and responding to the allegations from former Twitch employees. What you're watching right now, by the way, is his live stream, okay? These former Twitch employees are like spilling the beans, right? Kind of. That he had some inappropriate text messages with a minor. So what did Doc do? Instead of going to his lawyer and saying, what do I do? This was a legal case. It's all settled. What do you want me to do? No, Doc decides to let it all get the better of him, and he responds on his own. Everyone knows about that tweet. I think it's been deleted. So, but in the tweet, he said, okay, I never met her in person, but he admitted in the tweet that he had an inappropriate text messages, communications with a minor. But nothing happened after that. Nothing happened out of it. Okay? So he's admitting that. And nowhere in that tweet did he say that he didn't know she was a minor. So it looks like Doc had inappropriate text messages. He admitted it himself with a minor, and he knew she was a minor. Fast forward to today. I swear to God, the lawyers have got to him. While he was gone, they probably put a whole case together. You can go ahead and watch this if you want. I'll put a link to his stream, I guess, or the VOD. Just do a search on YouTube and watch today's VOD. And within 10 minutes, he starts going into the whole thing. But what he does is he says that first of all, he said his messages were just completely taken out of context, and that people who were out to get him at Twitch were picking and choosing stuff that he said to this minor, to this person, and pulled out enough to get him. And then he went into this whole thing about how Twitch said, no, there's nothing there. But then someone who doesn't like him escalated it to someone in a legal department. And then a decision was made to ban him. And he even said that Twitch decided to ban him because Ninja and Shroud were coming back. So that would make up for the loss of Doc. Now, the way I see it is, Doc is like, he's wrong and he's right. He's lying and he's not lying in today's statement. Now, guys, I just want you to know, I'm one of his biggest fans, okay? I am, over the years. No one, this guy is 3,000 times more, has more natural talent, 3,000 more times than someone like Mr. Beast, who is a propped up fake, okay? Doc has real talent. And I do appreciate real talent, organic talent. So, I love the guy, but after what he said today was just so easy for me to see. He is changing the story. He's basically saying, nah, maybe there's some joking around, but my stuff got taken out of context and pulled by people that don't like me at Twitch and wanted to get me banned. Okay? Well, that doesn't jive with your tweet where you said you had inappropriate messages. Okay? You tried to just gloss over that and basically say no, they weren't. And he did make some good arguments, or should I say his lawyer did. Twitch never even approached him to say, hey, we got these messages. It's been brought up to legal. Why, what happened? And then why didn't they question the girl either? And so Doc does make some good points on that. I agree on those things. So I'm trying to say, I agree with a lot of what Doc is saying here in terms of like them having it out for him, having it in for him, wanting to get rid of him. Okay, guys, if you own a company, do you want to get rid of your best-selling product? Do you? No, you don't. So I agree. There are people there that had it in for him, and they didn't care if it hurt the company. That company's never made any money. Twitch has never made a profit. Why would you get rid of your best-selling product? Because they're idiots over there, that's why. Twitch are just a bunch of idiots. They just never think about the actual business. So I agree with Doc on part of this. I do. But he did admit to inappropriate texting. But the thing is, it was all settled. The person who he did it with, they tried to get her to press charges against him or to complain. She didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it. This is according to Doc. And I think it's probably true. And just the whole thing, I think, true that it was kind of overblown and it kind of just all went away and it was just a legal settlement and all that stuff with Twitch. I do agree with Doc. I think that Twitch was out. There were people at Twitch that were out to get him. Totally agree. His ex-partner manager or whatever. I do remember he was complaining today that he never got on the front page on Twitch. He never did. I did often wonder why, you know. I often wonder why. So I think there's a lot of things happening here. I think Doc, you know, when you get famous, sometimes you think you're untouchable. And maybe he went a little bit too far. We already have a track record. He already cheated on his wife, which he didn't talk about today. He just said, I'm not a perfect man. Yeah, you know, neither was Charles Manson could say the same thing. I wasn't a perfect man. You know, it's easy to say something like that. So I see two things here. I see Doc being somewhat guilty of going a little bit too far with his ego. But then I see, yes, I think there were people out there to get him. And we had another tweet from a former worker there that said, the people on Twitch, the stuff they got away with over the years, with underage girls and stuff like that. So I mean, why did they pick on Doc only for this? And it was just messages. So I do agree. They were out. There were people there out to get him. They didn't care if they got rid of their best-selling product. They just didn't care. Twitch to this day is just not the same. It's just not the same platform. So here again today, I see a good and bad for Doc. I see him doing this. He's going to move forward. He's already getting ready to stream video games. He has a right to do that. There is no legal case against him. No one has pressed charges. There's no court case going on. Okay? Nothing like that. He has a full right to do this. And I hope YouTube does reinstate his partnership. I really think they should. It's good for him. It's good for YouTube. I think it's good to move on from this. But I did want to highlight the fact that, you know, Doc's not being completely honest about what happened in terms of the intent in the messages, but the whole thing was kind of settled, and there was no harm. And I do agree. I think some people picked up on that and ran with it to get him banned on Twitch. He was a bad boy. I agree with anyone that says it. He was a bad boy. Okay, not good, not good, but there were people at Twitch that were out to get him, and they used it to get him. Even though there's other people, like he said, and like we know, that have done much worse over the years. So what are you going to do? Do I want to burn Doc at the stake? No. There is no legal case going on. There's no one is suing anyone. No harm was done. And I think that Doc will move on from this. And I think that other platforms will pick up on him, and everyone will move on from this eventually. And it's easy to just throw accusations and call someone a pedophile and all that kind of stuff. But those things are easy to say. It's easy to say. But again, bottom line for me, Doc, you you definitely have to take some responsibility. And he did a little bit today. He said, I take responsibility for the whispers. Okay, if you do, then why are you saying that they were taken out of context? Okay? Okay, so his case, what he's trying to say is, well, they were taken out of context, but they weren't so bad to where I should have been banned on Twitch. Okay? So that's the case he's making. Again, I think the lawyers got a hold of all of this and helped them out on it. And, you know, I don't got a problem with that. So I think this whole thing is going to blow over. And Doc is going to be back on YouTube. He is already today. I think he'll be monetized again. But even if he isn't, the man has enough money to last several lifetimes. So don't worry, he'll be okay. So I think that's going to be the end of this saga. I do. And but I just don't see this. I just don't see this going anywhere else unless someone who we can rely on actually gives us the entire transcript of the messages. And if those leak and they're confirmed and it's legit, and we find out they're legit, we will go over those again and we'll see what's going on. I think Doc's a little what he is being accused of is he's guilty. He's guilty of inappropriate messages with a minor, and it's not me. He said that himself. He said it himself in the tweet, which I know he regrets making now. But today was him trying to backtrack on that. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He was trying to backtrack on that statement to where he says, "Oh, I send messages all the time to people." All the time. They're goofing around. I send messages to this user, this user, this user, this user. That's, again, another thing he said today. You know, goofing around, and then someone takes it out of context and tries to get me. Doc, I'm sorry. I'm not going to fall for that. Okay? I'm not going to fall for it. I love you, but I'm not going to fall for that. You got to really just say, look, I screwed up. That's what you should have said today. You should have said, look, that tweet I wrote you guys, that I made inappropriate comments with her, I screwed up. But here's what happened out of it. This happened, this happened, this happened. Meaning nothing happened. She didn't want to go after me. She didn't want to go after me. It wasn't it was like just kind of a goof up on my part. But there were people at Twitch that wanted to get me and they found something. That's all. That's what I think happened. That's all you had to say, Doc. Just say, I screwed up. You know, I just my head got too big. And I screwed up, and there were people at Twitch that are looking for a reason to get me, and they got me. And that's it. I would have accepted that. So I just wish Doc, sometimes I just don't feel like he's being totally honest. And I could kind of spot it right away. Anyway, this video has probably gone on too long. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.